Hello everyone, my name is Kumar and welcome back to our channel KUMAR Programming. In our previous session, we have configured our Prisma adapter for serverless environment. So now our application is ready for the deployment in the serverless environment like Vercel. But before deployment friends, we would like to go with the product detail page. Once this product detail page will be completed, after that we are going to have our initial deployment in Vercel, and further we will start building on authentication and other stuff, right? Let me show you quickly that what we are going to cover in this session. So this is our live application, and already we have bind this latest arrival information on our home page. Now once user will click on any product, then it will redirect to the product detail page, right, where we are binding product images. See, here we have nice section to show the multiple images, and after that here we have product detail, here we have our product price, here we have product description, and the very right side we have price for the product and current status for the product, is it in out of stock or in stock, and here we have a add to cart button, right, where we are going to add our product into the cart. And at the bottom we have the customer review, right? So we are going to build this page in this session, and after that we will have our initial deployment, okay? And later on we will start building on our authentication, right? And if you see here in the URL, here we have product, and then after that we have product slug, right? So on the basis of this slug, we are going to fetch the data and show the detail on the product detail page. Clear? So now let's start building this. Let's flip to the Visual Studio. So here in our code, first of all, we will create an action. Inside our action folder, we have already created our product.action.ts file. And in this file, we are going to create another action, which would be get single product by its slug, right? Let's remove this terminal for now, Control J. In order to hide and show our terminal, we have a command as a Control J, and then again Control J, it will be hide, right? Now what I'll do, first of all, let me remove all these commented lines, right? And now here I'm going to write a function as get product by slug name, right? Or get product by slug, okay? And here inside this we are passing slug, which would be type of string, right? It will be get product by slug, right? And here inside this function we are going to return await prisma dot product, right? And then dot find first, right? Because we are going to have only one record, right? Find first, and inside this we are going to pass where clause, because we are writing our Prisma query, right? And in this where clause we are going to pass our slug. That's it. Now our function is ready, and we are going to use this function inside our product detail component, right? Now if you see here at the root level we have product, right? And after that we have slug, and this slug is dynamic, right? For the multiple product we would be having a different slug, right? So now let's design this inside our project here, inside our app root, right? And inside this root we are going to create another folder as product, right? And inside this product we are going to create another folder as slug, because we have to make it dynamic, so we have to put it inside a square bracket, right? So here slug, whatever the value we have, right? So we have slug, right? So we are passing it as a slug here. And if you are using any id over here, then you have to give bracket and id, right? Since I'm using slug, so I'll be using here bracket slug. And in this folder we are going to have a page.tsx, and inside this page.tsx we will be having sfc, right? We are going to create a stateless function, and here we have our product detail page, right? Product details page. And inside this I'll use React fragmentation, and inside this fragmentation I'm going to write here details page, right? And now let's see, we should be seeing in our, this is our current application. So here I'll click. As soon as I click, I should be able to go to the product Monty sports shoes, right? But seems like our application is not running. Let's see. Yes, our application is not running. Let's run it. npm run dev, right? So our application should be running now. Let's see. Yeah, see here we are getting the detail page, right? But we need this slug, right? So let's find this slug here on this page. Now here in next 15 we get the parameter a bit different over here. So let me show you. Here we have props, and then this props would be type of params, and this params would be a return type of promise, which would be having parameter as a slug, would be type of string, right? Now here we can get the access to our props as props.params.slug, right? But we are going to destruct this here as const slug equal to props.param, right? Since this props.params if you see here, it's a promise. So here we are going to use await. Since we are using await, so we have to make this function as a async, right? And now we can access this slug. Let's see, right? Let's save it and see our application. Yeah, let's see, we are able to see our slug over here, right? Now let's see for the other product. We have llama party, right? See here, now we are seeing the llama sports shoes, right? So for the different product, we are able to see their slug. And now on the basis of this slug, we are going to load the data and we are going to display over here on the product detail page, right? Now here we will use our server actions to get the product by slug. So here const product equal to get product by slug, right? Get product by slug, and we are going to pass inside this slug, which we got it, right? Now this would be a async function, right? So we are going to use await. Now we have our product, right? And here we will check if we don't have the product, then user must have to go to the not found page, right? So I'll use here not found from our next navigation, right? If there is no product detail, then user will redirect to the not found page, right? So in order to just test it, here we will use product.name, right? And we would be able to see our product name on our page, right? Let's refresh this. Yeah, see, now we are able to see our product name, right? Cool. And if I put something else over here, which doesn't exist, then it should redirect to the not found page, right? Here it's redirecting to on generic error page. It's supposed to be redirect on our custom error page, right? Let me see exactly what is happening here. Here we have our not found page, right? And not found page is at the app level, right? This is at app level and this root level, right? So this root level folder should be able to access this not found page, right? And let's try with something else. If we just give like something like this, yeah, so now we are able to see the proper not found page. But whenever we are trying to access through product, we are not able to see our custom page. Why? Let me see. Here we have, let me try to get this not found page inside our root level. Okay, control C, and I'll paste it at the root level right here, and let's see if it's working now. Yeah, it's working fine now, right? But ideally we should not provide this not found page. We are having already at the root level, so this not found page is not required here. Let me delete it. Ideally it's supposed to use this not found page at the app level itself. Okay friends, I'll pause this video and try to figure it out, and I'll let you know. So friends, after a couple of hours of investigation, I found this, that we are using this Turbopack, right? Since this Turbopack is experimental and this is being added the new feature in our Next.Js, and it is causing the issue. So what we are going to do, we will remove this Turbopack and we will run it once again. So we are going to run it once again, pm run dev. And now if you see here, we are getting this error, uncaught exception type error, buffer util, right? So we have to install one of the library. So let me open another terminal and I'm going to install this npm install -d. It would be installed as a dev dependency and buffer util, right? So let's get it installed. Now it's been installed, and what we will do here, we will stop it once again our server and let's rerun npm run dev. Now we are not using our Turbopack. Let's start it building now. And friends, meanwhile it's compiling, I'll let you know that in case of something that you are not able to see the expected page, so what you can do, you can just delete this .next. This is the cache folder. You can delete this cache folder from Next.js, and also if error is not getting resolved, you can delete our node module folder and you can reinstall all of your packages. Right now this is built. Let's see once again. Now see here, we are able to see our custom error page, right? And if we click on the go to the home page, we will be redirect to the home page, right? Yep. So and we will give something like, yeah, so we are redirecting to the our custom home page, right? So this is working as expected. Now we are going to bind our product detail here. And now if you see in the production, here we have on product detail page, if you see here we have 5 columns, right? 5 column grid. These 2 columns for the images and these 2 columns for the product detail, and this last column is used for the product price section, right? So I'm going to create similar kind of structure. Let's flip to the Visual Studio here inside our product page. Now let's remove this. And here inside our fragmentation, I'm going to create a section. And inside this section, I'm going to have a grid of 5 column. So here div.grid calls 1 for the smaller screen, right? For the smaller screen, we would be needing only 1 column, right? So grid calls 1, right? And for the larger screen, medium and above screen, we need 5 column, right? So grid calls 5, right? And inside this, we are having 3 columns, right? 2 columns for image, 2 columns for product detail, and 1 column for price, right? So now let's create another div inside this. I'll mark it as a image, right? Image. And after that, I'll create another div dot call span to, right? Because we need to span 2 column, and this would be for our image, right? Similarly, we are going to have another div here. We should be having call span 2, and I'll give here padding, right? Padding of 5. And similarly, we are going to have another div over here, but we are not going to have any call span over here, right? Fine. Now, this would be for our image component, and the second one will be our for product detail, and the third one would be price, right? Now let's first populate our product detail here. Now inside this div, we are going to have another flex box, right? So div dot flex, and direction would be flex column, flex call, and we would be having gap of 6, right? And inside this, I'll take a paragraph, and inside this paragraph, we are going to have brand of our product, right? So product dot brand, right? And right after that, we will add our product category as well. Okay, so here we would be having our product category. Okay, now let's see if it's working. Now if you see here we are seeing our brand name and product category, right? Now we need to write our product name, right? So now let's write our product name. So what I'll do here, right after this paragraph, I'll take a h1 tag, and I'll give h3 bold class over here, right? And inside this, we are going to have our product name. So we will have our product name, right? Now let's see, refresh this page. Yeah, see here, now we are able to see our product name, right? And now we are going to implement this star later on once we will create our review component. But for now, we will just show our review, right? So here I'll just write our number of review. Right after this, I'll give another para. I'll give product dot rating of total number of reviews, right? So here we have product dot number of reviews, number of reviews, and then review, right? Now let's see. Yep, now we are seeing here 4.5 of 10 review, right? What is the error we are seeing over here? Decimal object cannot be rendered as text children, right? Okay, try formatting it to using .toString. Okay, so now what we will do here, we will convert into string. Okay, right? And now let's see. Yep, now the error has gone, and we are able to see this 4.5 review, right? And later on, we are going to replace this with our review component, where we are going to implement with the stars. And now further, we are going to write this our price component. Okay, and for this price, you remember that we have already created a price component, so we are going to use the same price component here. So right underneath of this paragraph, we are going to take another div, and we are going to have this class as flex and flex call. And for the smaller screen, we would be having flex row, and also for the smaller screen, we would be having item center, and we would be having gap of 3. Okay, right? And inside this, we are going to have our product price component, product price, right? And inside this product price, we are going to have our value, right? So we are going to have value, and value we are going to have the price, right? So I'll convert price as number here, and I'll product dot price, right? And if you remember that, we can provide the class name as well, right? So product price is having a dynamic class, so we will provide the class name, and this class name would be having width as a 24, rounded full, and I'll give the background green, bg green 100, and text we will give green. Okay, around 700, and I'll give padding x around 5 and padding y around 2. Okay, right? And I'll close this component. Now let's break it down. I'll break this down from class name, right, and the value. Okay, now let's see. So some of the class name is not getting applied over here, like rounded and all. Let's see. So here we have rounded full, right, width 44, and this bg green, right? So bg green, fine. So let's see. Yeah, great. So now we are able to see our price as well. Now the next thing we are going to write our description, right? Now we are going to have our product description inside our product detail div. So we should be writing right here, right? Here we are going to have our product description. So div dot, I'll give margin top 10. I'll give some space. Okay. And inside this, I'm going to have a paragraph as font semi bold, right? And inside this, I'm going to write our description title, right? And underneath of this paragraph, I'll take another paragraph and I'll write our product description. Okay. Great. Now let's see. Yeah, see here. Now we are able to see our description as well. Okay, right. Now the next thing we are going to implement our this price action column, right? So now let's create our price action now. Now this should be our price section, right? And I'll remove this class name for now. And inside this div, we are going to have a card component, right? We remember that we have added a card component from ShadCN, right? So we are going to use that card component. And inside this card component, we are going to have our, why it is not, yeah, card component. And inside this card component, we are going to have card content. But first of all, let's import our this card component from our ShadCN. So this is our component UI card, right? And inside this, we are going to have a card content, right? And I'll give class name, I'll give padding 4, okay? And I'll import this card content as well, because that is the part of this card content should be part of this card component itself. So let's import this here, card content. Yeah, card content, right? Now we should be good. Yeah. And inside this card content, we should be having a div. So I'm going to have a div here, div dot, I'll give margin from bottom to flex and justify between, right? Because we need two columns there, right? Justify between. Okay. Left side we would be having price and right side we would be having product price component. Okay, so here we are going to use our product price component once again. Now you can see how we are reusing our component, right? So this is known as a reusability, and here we will add our value, right? Because that is the required field that we must have to pass. Okay, so here we will give as number and product dot price. Okay, right. Now let's see, we would be able to see our, great. Now if you see here, we are able to see price and we are able to see right side, we are able to see the price detail, right? We need some padding here, right? This div is coming very close to the top, so we'll give some padding here to the top. Now here we'll add a class as, I'll give padding 5, right? What we have given on our upper div, yeah, here we have given padding 5, so we will give padding 5 and we will give at top only, right? Or we will give py, right, from top and bottom. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, so it should be fine now. Great. Now the next thing we are going to implement our this status and this badge, right? This is a badge component, right, from our ShadCN. So we are going to use this badge component. Now let's quickly go ahead and just below this div, so underneath of this div we are going to have the same div, right? Because left side we need a status, and after this I'll give a div, and inside this I'll write a status. Okay, and now we need to implement our status, right? So see here inside our production, see here we need to implement this our in stock and out of stock, right? So for that we are going to use our ShadCN-UI library as a badge, right? So we are going to use this badge, right? So now let's quickly add this badge. So I'll copy this and I'll quickly add this library. Okay, so now let's add this in a separate terminal. Now this badge is added. If you want to see here, you can see inside our this component UI badges, right? And now we will use this badge. So here underneath of this div, we will just check first if we have product stock is greater than 0 or not, right? So here we are going to check our product dot stock is greater than 0. Okay, and if it's greater than 0, then we are using in stock, else we are using out of stock. Okay, so let's first in stock badge. Here I'm going to use badge and I'll use this badge variant as a outline variant, and after that, and I'll pass this value in this badge as in stock. Okay, and similarly I'll be using this badge for out of stock. Okay, this would be out of stock. And I'll import this badge from our badge we just have added from our component UI badge, right? Great. And now let's save it. And this would be the out of stock, so it would be destructive, right? Now let's see. Yeah, see here we are seeing this in stock, right? And now if we want to see for any out of stock, so this product is out of stock, and see here we are able to red color in out of stock, right? And now further we are going to implement our this add to cart button. Okay, so now let's add our button. So underneath of this div we are going to check if product stock is greater than 0 or not. So here we will check our product stock is greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, then we will add our button. Okay, otherwise we are not going to add button. So what we will do here, we will add $& and then we are going to add this button. Okay, now inside this we are going to have a div as flex center. Why it's not adding the div with class? Sometimes it's not working, I don't know. So I'll write it manually. Div class name as flex center. Okay, and we will have our closing div. Okay, and inside this div we will have our button. Okay, class name as, I'll give width full. Okay, here I'll add to cart, right? And I'll import this button from our button component, right? Why we are seeing the error over here? Cannot find. Okay, fine, it should be fine now because we have already imported our button. Okay, now see, obviously here we don't have any stock, so we are not able to see our button. Let's move back and let's see if we have any other stock. See for this, see now here we are able to see our add to cart button, right? And now the next thing we are going to implement this our image, right? So we will create a separate image component for this, and we will loop through our product image array, and simply we just select the current selection and we will manage with the state. That would be quite simple. Let's do that quickly. So here inside our component we have our shared component, right? So inside the shared component product we are going to create another component over here as a product image, images.tsx. Okay, and now here we will use sfc, right? Stateless function component. And now here product images. Okay, and this is going to take in prop as images, right? And would be type of string of array, right? It would be images, right? Like this. Okay, and now inside this I'll use React fragmentation, and inside this I'll just write images. Okay, and now we are going to use this image component inside our product detail page. Okay, so here we have our product detail page, and inside this we are going to use our product image. We have given a space for our product image, right? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so now here we'll give our product image component, and inside this product image we are going to pass our images equal to product dot images, right? And we will close it here and we will remove this, it's not needed. Okay, and we will import these product images from our component shared product images, right? Fine, now let's see, we would be able to see our product image component at least. Let's refresh this. Yeah, see here we are seeing our images, right? So our product images component is getting bind. Okay, now we will bind with our image in our product image component here, and inside this product image, first of all I'll take a state as a current. So const I'll use as a current, set current. Here in this state I'm going to store just current selection. Okay, and by default I'll give as a use state as 0 value. Okay, the first selection, and I'm going to import this use state, add import from React, right? Because we are using state, so we must have to use our use client, because now it's going to be become as a client component. Okay, so here we will use client. Okay, so whenever we are using any React use state hook and all, then we must have to create a client component and write our use client. Okay, now inside this image we are going to create a div. Okay, and we are going to give a class name as space y4. We are going to give some space, at y-axis, okay, and inside this div I'm going to take image and I'll give the source, and source will be this array, right, images, right. We are going to give this as images and the value of current. Okay, getting my point, right? We are having this array, images array, which we are passing it as a props inside this component, and this current selection we have, right, and the current selection we have 0, right. So always for this image we are going to have the first image, right, and then I'll have alt, and alt I'll give as a product image. Okay, and then width I'll give something like 1000, the bigger one, and height also I'll give 1000, right. And I'll pass the class name to this image, and class name would be, I'll give as a minimum height at least 300 pixels, main height of 300 pixel, and also we are going to give object cover, so the whole image will be covered. Okay, and also we will give object center, right. And now we will close our image tag. Okay, and now we have to import our image, so import image from next image. Okay, somehow for image we are not able to, IntelliSense is not working, this next image, right, this would be image. Yeah, so error gone now, and here still we are seeing the error, so this would be something like this. Okay, now let's see if we are able to see our image. Yeah, that's great. Now we are able to see our big image, right? Now we will create this section where we are going to show our small images. Simply we are going to iterate the image array, and we are going to display each and every image from the array here, right? And the selection we are going to maintain inside our current selection state. Okay, now let's quickly do that. So here underneath of this image we are going to have another div dot flex, right? Why it's not working? Dot flex, no, still it's not working. Okay, fine, I don't want to type it manually. Fine, I'll just take it this one. Okay, div class, I'll give flex. Okay, and now inside this div I'm going to iterate our images. Okay, so we have images dot map, and then inside this map I'm going to have a fat arrow function, right. Since it's not going to return anything, then I'll use a square bracket over here, right. And inside this we are going to pass image and index, right. Image and index, sorry, it's index, right. And here inside this we are going to create another div, and inside this div we are going to create an image. So I'll just copy this image completely from here, and this image, the source would be here, image only, right. So I'll remove this because now we have only image. Okay, and this alt would be only image, and I'll width give something like 100, smaller image, right. And height also I'll give smaller image. Okay, and I'll remove this class for the time being from here. Okay, right. And for this div I'll give key as image. Okay, because we are iterating, so we must have to give the key. And also I'll give on click on this particular div, then we need to change the set current, right, the current index value. Here inside the fat arrow function I'll change the set current index. Okay, set current, right. So set current would be our index, whatever the index that we are having from here, right. Set current, right, is this correct? Set current, yeah, it's correct. Okay, what's the problem? String is not assignable to the type string. Okay, so this would be image, right, not images. Fine, now let me see if it's working fine. Yeah, I'm sorry, see, now it's working fine, but we are able to see only one image, right. So we are seeing some error over here. What is this image plus icon? Let's remove this added wrongly. And right, we should be having 3 images, right. So let's see inside our, oh sorry, we are having only one image. That's the reason we are seeing only one image over here, right. So I'll just quickly copy it from our production database, and I'll add all those 3 images over here inside our local database, right. So see here inside our production we are having 3 images, right. I'm going to just copy these two from our production database. So now let's quickly run our Prisma Studio, and we will update our database. So here npm Prisma Studio, right, sorry, it's npx Prisma Studio, npx Prisma Studio. Now our Prisma Studio is running over here. Now let's quickly see, right, and we are updating our Monty Sport shoes, right. See here, this is our Monty Sport shoes, so we are going to update in our, now let's quickly add here inside our Monty Sport shoes, and here we have all these 3 images. Okay, so I'll add it one by one. Here inside our llama shoes I'm going to add this one, this. Now here I'll add p0y, add another one, right, add, and now let's save it. Okay, still we are not seeing. Yeah, great. So now we are able to see all the three images over here, right? I think these two images are the same. No, not this. This one is the something smaller one. Okay. Now what I need, once I'll click on each images, the each images needs to be having a border. Okay. Now if I select this one, so this image should have a border, right? So user can get to know this image is selected. Okay. So how we can do that? Let's quickly, and here what we will do, we will, for this particular div, we will have a dynamic class. Okay, so we will pass a dynamic class here as class name. And I told you that how we can pass the dynamic class. We have a utility class as a CN, right? And inside this CN we have to pass first the initial class. Okay, so initial class is going to be border, and I'll give something, some margin from right, and then I'll give the cursor as a pointer, cursor pointer, and I'll give hover border. Color should be red, something like 600. Okay, and the second option which we have, pass the class which we want to pass the dynamic, right? So now comma, and here we would be having our dynamic class on the basis of condition. So if current equal to index, right, then we are going to change the border as 500. Okay, so here I'll change this border 500, right? And now this CN must be imported. This should be imported from library utility, right? And now why it is coming? Okay, still it's giving error. No duplicate props allowed. Why it's saying like no duplicates props allowed? Here we have class name, then we have pass our dynamic. This is our initial class, and then we are passing on the basis of condition, right? What are we missing here? Sorry, it's my fault, because here we are not having this index, right? Because we need to apply this class on this div, right here. Fine. Yeah, now let's see, let's refresh this. Yeah, see, the first one is selected. Now we have the second one is selected, and this is the third one selected, right? Great, so it's working fine. Now we need this border a bit rounded. So now let's see here, we will give border rounded MD, and after selection also we will give rounded MD. Okay, now let's see. Yep, now it looks good. It's a bit rounded. Yeah, now it looks better. So far we have implemented our product detail page, and now the pending thing is here customer review, that we are going to implement later on, right? So far so good. We have implemented our home page. On home page we are displaying latest arrival, latest product, and inside this product we implemented our product detail component page, and inside this product detail component page we are showing this image component, right? Now these images are displaying. So might be it was cached, so that's why it was not showing, but now it's displaying properly, right? And here in the center we are showing the product detail, and the right side showing the price and status and add to cart button, right? So now we are in a good position to deploy our application in Vercel environment. So in our next session we are going to deploy this application in Vercel environment, and after that we are going to work on our authentication process, right? And friends, at the end of this video, if you found this tutorial helpful, do me a favor, like this video to support me and my channel, and subscribe my channel if you haven't already done so far for more content like this, and share this with your fellow developer who might find it useful. And if you really love my work, then consider buying me a coffee to support for more free tutorials. Link is given below in the description. Alright, that's all for the day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep learning.